Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe to be a little better next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building the Wasp, either Janet or Hope van Dyne, though the background will be Hope because she's in the movies that are really popular and easy to find. They're pretty similar characters who do pretty similar things in pretty similar ways, not all that surprising. Wasps tend to want their children to be exactly like them.
I'm a wasp and I like to hurt people. I don't clean nothing, I don't make honey, I don't spread too much pollen really. I just think it's fun to hurt people.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to get small, but not in the normal way society pressures women into being small, in the comic book way. Not in the normal comic book way. You know what? Bug-sized. We need to get bug-sized. Next, we need to sting with some lightning to zap people, giving us a very consistent weapon. Finally, we'll get the ability to fly, which when paired with your small size is going to make you incredible at infiltration. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Intelligence will be number 1. You've got the best tech and you know how to use it. Both Janet and Hope work on their own gear. I don't want anyone saying Hank does all the inventing. That is categorically untrue. Dexterity next. Sneaking is sort of the point of the PIM particles, at least the most practical point. A lot of P words there. Hopefully none of those popped on the recording. Wisdom after that. You don't talk to bugs as much as your partner, but you can still talk to bugs. Follow that up with charisma. The Wasp will pretty regularly find herself in leadership roles, so you gotta be able to guide your team. Constitution is a bit low. We're just gonna try not to get hit, and we'll dump strength. We just don't need it, at least not right away. The Wasp is a human. If you really want, you can go custom lineage to be small sized, which will be kind of useful later, but also kind of not useful later. She's just a human. Get over it. I hate that I get complaints every time I make one. Those comments are probably my least favorite that aren't outright bigoted or gatekeepy. Anyway, you get a feat. Grab the Fighting Initiate feat for fighting style like unarmed fighting. Deal 1d6 with your unarmed attacks, 1d8 with 2 free hands, and 1d4 to a creature you have grappled. Seems pretty bad since we started off with dumping strength, but there's a little trick we can use to fix that up. We've used it a few times. You might know what it is. Bump your intelligence and your wisdom with your 2 free points. Take stealth for your skill of choice, and the athlete background for acrobatics and athletic skills just because I want them, and you do a bunch of martial arts training, it works. So, since we have martial arts training, I bet you know what class we're starting with. First level druids can grab 2 skills from the druid list like animal handling and perception. When you're used to being the size of a bug, you probably get better at noticing small details. You speak Druidic, which is a special language that only druids can speak. I think you and Groot would get along. As excited as I am to see Thor and the Guardians, I really want the cosmic and micro Marvel universes to interact more. You get spells and cantrips. Infestation forces a constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take a d6 of poison damage and have to move in a random direction. Get some of those fire ants to bite people. They're not actually dealing fire damage. You do realize that, right? Guidance gives a creature a d4 to add to their next ability check to lead the team a little bit better. For your first level spells, Animal Friendship forces a wisdom saving throw on a beast. Failing that, they're your buddy for 24 hours as long as one of your allies doesn't accidentally step on them. You can actually use this on any beast. There aren't spells that are specific for ants. Speak with Animals lets you speak with animals for up to 10 minutes. Use this and your solid animal handling and you could get a whole hill of ants on your side rather than just one. Actually, mentioning this now, holy moly, Animal Friendship is pretty bad at controlling ants. Long Strider adds 10 feet to your movement speed for up to an hour, helping you run a little bit faster now and fly a little bit faster later. Second level Druid is what we're here for, giving you a Druid circle like Circle of the Moon for a combat wild shape, which is an upgraded version of wild shape, which you also get at this level. I prefer to put up all this stuff at the same time and explain the upgraded version because otherwise I would just immediately correct myself. This lets you turn into a beast of challenge rating 1 or lower as a bonus action for a number of hours equal to half your Druid level. You get a beast's physical stats but keep your soft stats, which is nice when your soft stats are as solid as yours. You can also spend a spell slot to heal yourself 1d8 in the beast form, but you can't cast other spells, and if you chose a spider for your shape, which is probably the closest that D&D has for ants, you'll only have 1 HP, so it's not like you're going to be able to use this a lot. The reason you choose a spider is because it's tiny, though technically a velociraptor is also tiny. There is no difference in size between the two. So technically speaking, a velociraptor is just as much of an ant as a spider is. Like I said, you can't cast spells while you're in the shape, but you can still maintain concentration, so we'll get a flying spell later to fly while we're tiny. The reason I want to do this instead of enlarge reduce on a small race is twofold. 1, Janet and Hope are like 5'6". They're normal sized people. And 2, eventually we want to get bigger too, and that would mean our max size would be medium. Speaking of enlarge reduce, 3rd level druids can learn 2nd level spells, like enlarge reduce, which makes a creature larger, gives them advantage on strength checks and saves, and an extra d4 of damage to their weapon attacks. Reduce does the opposite. Personally, I have a little homebrew rule that gives tiny creatures advantage on dexterity checks and saves, and enlarged creatures disadvantage on those to incentivize making someone smaller, but that's homebrew, and it's just something I like. If the creature doesn't want to shift inside size to suit your mood, they can make a wisdom saving throw to resist. Animal Messenger sends a tiny animal to deliver a message to someone within 50 miles of you if the beast is flying, or 25 miles if it can't fly. Having an ant deliver a message is a great way to stay off the grid. Pass Without Trace is also a great way to stay off the grid, letting you give creatures within 30 feet of you plus 10 to their stealth checks for an hour depending on your concentration. Cast this before you transform. You can be 1 inch tall and have plus 14 to your stealth. That's pretty sneaky. Speaking of sneaky, we'll manipulate the rules of D&D by jumping over to Monk now and grabbing Martial Arts. That'll let you make your unarmed attacks using your Dexterity modifier and a second unarmed attack as a bonus action after you make one with your action. You still keep the die from the unarmed fighting style, you just can't be wearing armor. Thankfully, you get unarmored defense, making your AC 10 plus your Dexterity and Wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. Both of these abilities carry over to your wild shape as well, so you can still punch really well in your small form. So far, this is pretty similar to the Ant-Man build, which makes sense, you have similar abilities, but now we're gonna start grabbing some Wasp exclusive stuff by jumping to Artificer. This will make you a magical item tinkerer, letting you put tiny magical effects in tiny non-magical items. A puff of smoke, a little message. It can be a nice distraction when you're sneaking in. You can also grab spells and cantrips. Shocking Grasp is a melee spell attack that deals 2d8 lightning damage and prevents the target from taking reactions for our first stinger. It's a great way to disengage. Light lets you see in the dark with your bad human eyes. Pretty simple, it's a flashlight. For first level spells, Featherfall stops up to 5 falling creatures from taking falling damage. So Scott, Cassie, Johnny, Sonia, and Jax can all get caught by your flying friends and gently float back to the ground. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute. You have to jump before you can fly. Since we're multi-classing spellcasters, check page 165 of the player's handbook to figure out how many spells you have at any given level. Second level artificers get infusions to make you better than Scott, like enhanced arcane focus to add 1 to the attack rolls with a spellcasting focus, and you get to ignore up to half cover for better shocking grasps. Enhanced weapon adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon and makes it magical in terms of overcoming resistances, which will get better next level. Patience is a virtue. Enhanced defense is terrible on a monk, giving a shield or a set of armor plus 1 to its AC, both of which would stop you from using your martial arts, so why the heck would I take it? What is wrong with me? Goggles of Night let you see in the dark with your bad human eyes. I'm gonna say just use light, but if you don't want a bright light on a stealth mission, these will do in a pinch. Third level artificers get to choose a specialty. We're choosing Armorer with a monk level, the class that isn't allowed to wear armor. The point of the monk level was to let us use our Dexterity modifier for our unarmed attacks, so you can still punch people as a bug. When you turn into a bug, all of your equipment you're wearing merges into you and doesn't have any effect, so you can use Armorer armor until you need to get sneaky. Sneakiness really is the only material benefit for getting small in D&D. As an Armorer, you have proficiency with heavy armor and don't need to meet the strength requirement. You can also choose an armor model. Infiltrator is pretty much the Wasp suit, removing the stealth disadvantage from the armor, adding 5 feet to the movement speed, and giving you a lightning launcher, a simple ranged weapon that deals 1d6 lightning damage and an extra d6 of lightning damage once per turn. You can also use your intelligence modifier for it, so it uses the same modifier as your melee Wasp Sting Shocking Grasp thing. Fourth level artificers get an ability score improvement. Let's bump your intelligence modifier for better lightning. We're at total level 8. It sure took us a while to get one of those, but they're not actually that important for you, especially once we hit higher levels. Fifth level armorers get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1, letting you really spam that lightning launcher and take advantage of the benefits from enhanced weapon. You also get second level spells like Spider Climb, which lets you climb on walls and ceilings for an hour depending on your concentration. Spiders already have that, but maybe you want to be a velociraptor. I always did. You also get Mirror Image for free, creating 3 illusory duplicates of yourself that can absorb hits for you. When someone attacks you, roll a d20. On a 6 or higher, they have to hit one of your duplicates if you still have all 3. 8 or higher if you still have 2, or 11 or higher if you only have 1. Technically, this isn't really something you can do, but the VFX of your shrinking make a bunch of holographic wasps, and it's an automatic dodge. That's pretty in character. 6th level artificers get Tool Expertise, doubling your proficiency bonus with the tools you're proficient with, so you can boost your Tinkerers, Thieves, and Smith's tools checks even higher. You're actually better with Thieves' tools than the Rogue, so we don't need any Rogue levels. We do need 2 more infusions though. Spell Refueling Ring lets you recover 1 spell slot of 3rd level or lower automatically once per day. It's always nice to have a larger battery, and Ring of Water Walking lets you walk on water without falling in, skittering around on the surface like some sort of insect girl. 7th level artificers get Flash of Genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier to a creature's ability check or saving throw within 30 feet of you an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. I love getting this on a character with leadership abilities. Charisma is always good for leadership, but sometimes a tactical wit can go a long way. 8th level artificers can make that even better with another ability score improvement, letting you cap off your intelligence modifier to maximize your genius bonus and your amount of genius bonuses and the sharpest of stingers. It's pretty good to invest in intelligence as an artificer. 9th level armorers get get armor modification, making your armor multiple pieces so you can infuse a helmet, gauntlets, chest piece, boots, and a weapon, and you can infuse 2 more items per day for free as long as they're part of your armor. You also get 3rd level spells here. Lightning Bolt is free as an armor, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 100-foot line, dealing 8d6 lightning damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. Sometimes you just gotta turn the regulator off and let out that unlimited power. Fly gives a creature a 60-foot flying speed for up to 10 minutes, depending on your concentration. Use this before you wild shape, and boom, you're flying tiny. 10th level artificers are magical item adepts, letting you infuse up to 4 magical items at the same time and just in time for 2 really good infusions. Winged boots give you a flying speed for a minute at a time for a maximum of 4 hours per day. I don't think you're ever going to fly for 4 hours a day. It's pretty much just to stop you from flying indefinitely. Helm of Awareness will give you advantage on initiative rolls and make you immune to being surprised for a spider sense. Wait, you're not a spider. Well, okay, so sometimes you turn into a spider, but then you apply the flavor. Still, you're quick on the draw. All of your enhanced infusions also get +2 bonuses instead of +1 now. That's really good. 11th level artificers get spell storing item, letting you store a spell of 2nd level or lower from the artificer list into an item. Then another creature can cast that spell using your intelligence modifier an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. That's the really good part of this. The creature that casts the spell is the one who concentrates on it. So if you have some ant buddies cast the spell, they could focus on it for you, so you can have a different concentration spell up. If only you had some sort of tiny servant like the spell, Tiny Servant, which makes a tiny servant that helps you for 8 hours. The stats for it are in the Xanathar's book. It's kind of long to list all the stats of a creature, and just reading it would be easier for you, but you get to command it with your bonus action, so you could have it cast Enlarge Reduce for you 10 times per day and focus on it for you. 12th level artificers get another ability score improvement or feat. We'll grab the Sharpshooter feat, letting you fire at maximum range with ranged weapons, add 10 to the damage roll of a ranged weapon attack after taking a -5 penalty, and ignore up to full cover. This works with your lightning launcher because it is a simple ranged weapon, so your wasp stings are going to sting almost as bad as a real wasp sting. Have you ever been stung by a wasp? That's like 40 damage at least. 13th level artificers can learn 4th level spells. Elemental Bane forces a constitution saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they lose any resistance they have to an elemental damage type of your choice. Choose lightning and you can deal an extra 2d6 of that damage once per turn when you hit them. That means your lightning launcher can deal 5d6 plus 34 damage per turn, or 49 damage with median rolls. That's electric. 14th level artificers are magical item savants, letting you tune up to 5 magical items at once, and you can grab 2 more, like the Belt of Hill Giant Strength for 21 strength. That will let you punch with the increased density only Pim particles can provide. Ring of Free Action stops anything from slowing you down, and you can't be paralyzed or restrained. It is incredibly hard to lock down a girl who can shrink down to 2 inches tall. 15th level armorers get Perfected Armor, giving creatures you hit with your lightning launcher disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and the next attack roll against them has advantage and deals an extra d6 of lightning damage, letting you chain that lightning even if you don't have chain lightning. We'll also grab Blink from the 3rd level, which will let you blink in and out of the quantum realm at the end of your turn. You roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, you spend the time in between your turns in the quantum realm, popping back somewhere within 10 feet of you at the start of your next turn. Your AC is already 20 with enhanced defense, but this means half the time, nobody's going to even be able to try and punch you. Our capstone is the 16th level of our Artificer for one last ability score improvement or feat. The Mobile feat will add 10 feet to your movement speed and prevent creatures you try to attack from making opportunity attacks against you. That means if you need to get away, you just have to try and punch someone and you get to disengage for free. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're very hard to hit with 20 base AC, Blink, Mirror Image, and free disengagement. Hitting you is like swatting a fly. You're also dealing consistent damage at any range with solid punches from unarmed fighting and lightning blasts from a distance. Finally, you're incredibly mobile with a flying speed and extra speed to get wherever you want to go. And there's always a stealthy way to get there as well. For weaknesses, you're low on health with barely over 100 HP, meaning this bug could get squished pretty easily. You've also got a lot of concentration spells and can only have 1 up at a time. Also, you're bad at concentration. Finally, you can't bring all of your Artificer buffs into your wild shape and can't get the monk benefits in your armor. It's just not super clean. But you can be an infiltrator, you can be a sniper, you can be whatever you need to be to get the job done. Fly in, fly out, and shock everyone with how effective you can be when you're less than 1 inch tall. Just make sure that you're remembering to dodge, otherwise you could go from the Wasp to the Ghost. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.